Hey friends, welcome back. It's time to have another conversation. This week, I was kind of struggling trying to decide what I wanted to talk about. I was trying to choose between a couple of different things I've been considering. And then halfway through the week, something starts getting shared on social media, and I was like, that is what I want to talk about this week. And so, if you're watching this close to when I record it, you will know the time frame in which it's being recorded, which is the 2020 US presidential election. It is Saturday now that I'm recording. Election day was Tuesday. A lot of places are still counting votes. A lot of reporting centers haven't called it yet. Normally we get the results within a day or two, and it's just been a lot of back and forth, a lot of counting and recounting. But this week, as votes began to be counted, things started to be tallied, people started to make more informed predictions, other than just like, oh, well, we think this could happen, but they started to look at what was happening and say, oh, based on what we've seen so far, this is what we think is going to happen. People all over the place started sharing these posts just saying, no matter what happens, God is in control. No matter what happens, God is still on the throne in heaven. Like, don't worry about it. It doesn't matter. Whatever happens, God is still in control. And I wanted to address that. Because, yes, no matter what happens here on the earth, God is still in control in the heavenly realms. No matter what happens here on earth, our God still has the power to do whatever he wants. At any point, he could come down and be like, hey, we're doing this now, this is how it's gonna go. And he has the power, the authority, the control to be able to do that. But saying, no matter what happens, God's still in control, so it doesn't matter, it's fine, like, don't worry about it, is completely ignoring several facts of how our world actually works, of how he's set it up to work, and that there's this little thing called free will that throws a wrench into that whole thing. Because yes, God has the power and the authority to control and dictate any course of action that he wants to. But he's given every individual human being the authority to control their own actions, their own choices, and their own lives. And that means we are responsible for those actions and those choices. And we can't make poor choices and then just be like, oh, well, God's in control, so I guess this is what was supposed to happen. Don't have to deal with the consequences. Or don't have to deal with what I said last week about this. Because a lot of the people that I've seen posting these, just resharing these God is in control posts, are people who I've heard through multiple presidencies for years say, if you don't vote a certain way, then you're not really a Christian. Which is also not true. It's not biblical. Nowhere in the Bible does it say Christians should vote this way. I mean, if you look, Christ came into the world and tore down the social, political, religious systems of his day. And I don't know why we've come to this point in American Christianity specifically where we don't think he would do the same thing. Because just as then, our systems are as corrupt and as broken and just as run by humans who are incapable and broken and corrupted and corruptible and make mistakes all the time. You can try your best and still get everything wrong. And so I don't understand how we've gotten to this point where we're like, oh, well, Jesus would vote this way. No, he wouldn't. And there's nothing in the Bible to support, oh, he would vote this way or he would vote that way. He would tell you that you're putting too much. I'm not speaking for Jesus. This is what I think after years of studying the Bible. Not putting words in his mouth because I cannot speak for Jesus, but this is the conclusion that I've come to, is that He would tell us that we're putting way too much stock in the American political system. We're putting our hope in the American political system and not in Christ. And that's the problem. We've stopped looking to Christ and started looking to our own political system, to a point where people for months have been saying that the global pandemic that we're in right now is a hoax made to manipulate our political system and the outcome of this election. And I don't know how caught up in yourself, in your own world, you have to be to think that millions of people around the world are dying to manipulate something in one country. I just don't understand that. But back to the point of what everybody's sharing this week of don't worry about what happens in the election because God's still king. Yes, he is still king in the heavens. But guess what? Nowhere in my Bible is there any sort of covenant that the Lord made with the country of America to lead up strong biblical leaders. It's just not there. There are points where he makes that covenant with Israel, where he tells them that he'll raise up leaders and they ask for a king, and he says, you don't need a king, I'm your king. They're like, no, but we want a king because the other countries have kings. He's like, okay, have a king. It's not gonna go well, but I'll give you a king. And you see the people of Israel, their choices backfiring, and you see them facing the consequences of their own choices. And they were God's chosen people. They were the people of Israel, the kingdom of Israel, that was God's kingdom here on earth. And they still face the consequences of their own actions. So why do you think that we won't? I'm struggling to understand how we've gotten to this point where we're so focused on the things happening here and now that we're not focused on eternal things. We've placed all our hope, all our focus on what's happening now, and we'll never succeed in the eternal things if now is our focus. If we focus on what is eternal and what is on the other side of this existence that we now know, we'll see that impact things now. If you focus on the eternal things, the greater things, it will have a positive impact now. But if you focus on the things of now that are so much smaller, so much less powerful, so much more easily broken and corrupted, you will not see the impact that you want later. And I don't know why we're not talking about this. Why are we in this bubble of comfort, this bubble of this is what matters to my immediate world, so it must be most important? No, it's not. How have we gotten here? I really just have a lot of questions today. I normally come with a question and have some additional thoughts on it, but I had a thought that led to a lot of questions that I just don't understand. If you also have these questions, please let me know so I know I'm not the only one and that I'm not crazy just losing my mind over here. If you maybe have some insight as to why and how this is where we are, also let me know that. I'm just at a loss. If you're gonna turn around and say that it doesn't matter what happens because God's on the throne in heaven, then you can't say for months leading up to the election that you have to vote a specific way in order to really be a Christian. I can cherry pick Bible verses and make a case for all political parties and say that Christ would support that because of these things. But the fact of the matter is, not a single one of them is the right one. None of the political parties, because I know we focus on two, but there's more than two. And I wish there was a way that we could actually have more than just two options. Like, I'm waiting for the day where a third party candidate is a real option and can actually, like, get out there and people will hear them. But they're both broken human systems. And so why are we staking our eternal future in them? That's not what our focus should be on. Yes, we need to advocate for the things that we believe in. Yes, we need to protect the rights of those who can't speak for themselves, who don't have a voice. We need to stand up for those who are being faced with injustice. But if you only back what one political party is advocating for, you're gonna miss so many other things. And I know not everyone can fight every fight. Not everyone can advocate for every position, every issue. Not everyone can advocate for everything. And so maybe you have a passion for one thing, and so do it. But don't belittle someone else's passion because it's not yours. There's a lot of problems in our world and a lot of things that need addressing. But don't use one issue that you care about to belittle or negate a passion that someone else is fighting for change in, fighting for improvement in. That is not going to get us anywhere. Let's work together. Let's work with people we disagree with, because one viewpoint isn't going to get us progress. I've said it so many times, not on here because this is video number 3, but I've said so many times in different rooms, and I've said it from a stage, I've said it in meetings, I've said it at prayer services. A room full of Tessas is not going to get the things done that we need done. A room full of 15 people just like you is not going to get done what needs to get done. But it takes each and every one of us who have been made so unique and so specific to see the things done that need to be done. Because there's not just one problem in our world. There are countless problems in our world, and it's going to take all of us to figure them out. And it's going to take lifetimes to do it. Most of these problems are not things that are going to get fixed overnight. Some of them could be if we would stop arguing and just work together. Some of them could be. And it's sad that we can't. That we're so caught up in our own worlds that we can't take 5 minutes to listen to somebody who doesn't see things exactly the way that we do in order to see change. I'm hopeful that one day we'll get there. And I'm hopeful that we'll start to see change take place. I am hopeful in the next generation. Because the people who are 10, 11, 12, the 5-year-olds right now, we need to be raising and training and teaching and showing how to work together with people we don't agree with, people they don't see eye to eye with. Because they're going to be the next leaders of our world. They're going to be the business leaders, the lawmakers, the politicians, the teachers, the pastors, the religious leaders. That's going to be them one day. And what we do now is going to show them what to do and what not to do. If you have any thoughts, I'd love to hear them. Because what I just said to this camera is just the frustrations and the questions that have been going on in my head for I don't even know how long, that I can't even understand. But let's all try to be better. Be better for yourself. And when you're better for yourself, you will be better to others. And that little ripple effect can bring out more change than you can ever know. That's all I have for you. Let's discuss this down in the comments. Let me know what you think. And I'll see you guys next time.